a lot of people have made fun of the fact that, rappers will essentially rat on themselves.
I just caught a felony, but they will never find out. 13 shots up in the Glock, I let 9 out. Me, Jay, Boogie, and Tariq went on a ride out. Didn't hide the straps, I still got them all at my house.
If some dude is like, I'm shopping for them must-haves, shot that on 9th Ave, and then the actual person was like killed on 9th Avenue.
Street took his AP, stashed the whip outside of Arby's. MK the plug, he the one who got the getaway. He live up on Main, they ain't coming for him anyway.
Then you should probably be able to look into the lyrics. But
let me put you on game.
Let's get into our last big topic of the day. We've got some interesting things and debates going on in the world of music right now. So cue us up, Soj. Let us know what you're thinking about this week.
Yeah, so this last topic that I have kind of comes from a common rap meme, constantly rapping on themselves in their rap lyrics. So a team that has been led by people like Fat Joe, Jay-Z, Meek Mill, and others have kind of signed a petition to get this New York law passed that in the legislation, it would amend a state law to limit the admissibility of a defendant's music or other creative expression as evidence shown to a jury. For the layman, in this article written by Nancy Dillon, basically rappers would like to limit the ability of their lyrics being used as evidence in court and to be shown to jurors. It's really funny because a lot of people have made fun of the fact that, rappers will essentially rat on themselves by saying incriminating things about their exploits and their criminal past in their lyrics. And rappers have argued that, they're not really incriminating themselves. They're just speaking from their truth. It's creative expression, and you really shouldn't bring this kind of evidence, or this shouldn't be presented as quote unquote evidence in a criminal trial. I'm reading this quote from Fat Joe where it says, "Our lyrics are a creative form of self-expression and entertainment, just like any genre. We want our words to be recognized as art rather than being weaponized to get convictions in court. I hope the governor and all lawmakers in New York take our letter into consideration, protect our artistic rights, and make that right decision to pass the bill on Tuesday." Another quote goes on to say that according to the draft legislation, the bill would set a new high bar, compelling prosecutors to provide clear and convincing evidence that a defendant's creative expression, such as a rap song, is literal rather than figurative or fictional. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this controversy and, rap becoming a legislatively protected art form.
It's a mixed bag for me. I think the bill should pass. I think that there should be a distinction between creative expression and between what is admissible in court. It's just that I guess that there's levels to it, because there's plenty of rappers that talk about shooting and killing people on a song by song basis. But I mean, like, if some dude is like, I'm shopping for them must-haves, shot that nigga on 9th Ave, and then the actual person was like killed on 9th Avenue, then you should probably be able to look into the lyrics. But yeah, I guess, the distinction that you just made where they have to provide evidence, like, I think that that's evidence. Like, if you literally say, like, I shot, the person in question at this time, on this date, at this location, then yeah, I think that maybe that should be admissible. But if it's just general rapper braggadocio, glorifying violence or saying what they did or didn't do in these situations, or admissions of guilt when it comes to like victimless crimes like drug dealing or whatever, because I mean, rappers be lying. So like it's really tough to decipher between what's true and what's not, and what should or shouldn't be admissible. So I think the bill should pass, and I think that they should probably make an except specific situation where it's very clear that the artist in question actually, told on themselves in very specific fashion.
Kind of seems like rappers kind of want to have their cake and eat it too in some ways, at least from the gangster rap subgenre, bragging about illegal exploits. And I think about lines from rappers like Malice, where he says, rappers is talking to me as if we in the same boat. I'm quick to tell them, no, I move coke. It's really straightforward. And I think, you have space to have creative expression, but that's really direct. and related to drug trafficking, and then couple that with the fact that some of his associates have been given prison time and sentences related to drug trafficking, it cuts a little too close to home. I think rappers have really creative lines that obviously, capture their environment and stuff like that. And most of the time it's storytelling, but there is a link between criminality and, the rap genre in some ways that has been in some ways overblown, but in other ways pretty clear. But be that as it may, I think that to use rap lines in a trial to try to create some kind of theory of context can be misleading, and I think that it definitely be dangerous for people who are put on trial for situations that aren't really fair. If you have hard evidence and it's linking you directly to a crime, yeah, I get it. If you have a rapper saying, I shot Jimmy two times, and you got a victim who has two bullet holes in him and his name is Jimmy, yeah, like that, it's pretty one-to-one. But if you got Drake on a song saying, gang ish is all I'm on, I don't think that's really a foundation for building a case. So I think the bill is just ultimately trying to push for more nuance in the criminal proceeding process. And I think it's fair ultimately.
Yeah, I think that there is an element of race to it as well. I mean, of course, there's a larger conversation about the prison industrial complex and how so many men that look like us or are of shades adjacent to us that are locked up, and it's almost, it almost keeps so many aspects of the country running in a lot of ways. So there has to be a certain amount of people in prison for this, that, and the third. So you see, like the difference between certain people of certain colors being convicted of crimes that, at a higher rate than other races. So with that in mind, you also have to look at other genres of music. Like if you want to look at something like metal or death metal, where the aesthetic behind it and the lyrics are very, very dark and talking about very harmful and dark things, but you don't really see like rock stars in court generally with their lyrics being brought up as evidence for their crimes, one way or the other. So you have to look at it from that perspective too, and understand that there is certainly, or I won't say certainly, there is most likely a racial aspect to it when it comes to evaluating the lyrics of artists.
Yeah, I could see that. And you got people like Marilyn Manson, Slim Shady. I know he got a lot of flack for his lyrics, but other genres, I don't think people really thought that Bob Marley shot the sheriff or anything like that. So there's definitely a race and a genre element to it, but ultimately, people like Jay-Z are trying to put their weight behind making this situation right and just providing a counter to the narrative that's out there.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It's an interesting conversation and one that I'm sure will come up in the future. Definitely keep me posted on how that bill is going and whether or not it gets passed and what the fallout and the reactions to it are.